back. We're talking with Charles Johnson, Senior Manager at J.S. Johnson, and we're talking about car insurance and the new amendments to the Road Traffic Act. Now, it's not just the motorist who actually has some responsibility. Obviously, there are some rules that you have to pay attention to as the insurance company. You want to run down to us, please?
Yeah. Thank you, Julian, again. The Act, the amended Act is requiring the insurance companies in the Bahamas to notify the Road Traffic Department of cancellations. In a sense, it's not new. Insurance companies has always been required to notify the Road Traffic Department when a motor policy is canceled. In this instance, though, we are required within 48 hours to advise the Road Traffic Department that an insurance motor policy has been canceled. And this information is sent to the Road Traffic Department via email, and in turn, I'm sure this information will be shared with the police so that the authorities are aware almost immediately that Julian Reid's policy has been canceled.
But he's talking about.
Yes. Now, as I said earlier, if the policy, we have to give a reason if the policy has been canceled within 6 months. If the policy has been canceled after 6 months, we are not required to give a reason for the cancellation. But we are required to obtain the certificate of insurance from you. Once you cancel your policy, you must return that certificate of insurance to us.
Now, how challenging is that? Because I could see some people saying, rather cancel the cancel.
Yeah. Well, if you're seeking to get a refund in premium, you're going to have to return that certificate. If you've lost it or if it's been damaged or stolen, then you do a declaration signed by an authority saying that the certificate of insurance has been lost. And on the basis of that, we notify road traffic, and of course, if you're entitled to a refund in premium, we will then give you a refund.
Also, are the police requiring you to present your insurance on the spot now? So really, you should have your insurance in the car,
well, that's,
or at least a copy of it.
Absolutely. Well, the original, it's an offense for anyone operating a vehicle to not have a current copy of their insurance certificate in their vehicle. Okay, and that leads to the other amendment to this act, because the police now currently is empowered to impound your vehicle on the spot if you don't have evidence of an insurance certificate or the vehicle is not registered for road use, which means that if your vehicle is impounded, there are some additional charges that you will incur, because first of all, you would have to show proof before you can get your vehicle back that you have insurance, and you would have to show that it is registered for road use, and you would have to pay a fine for the time that the vehicle would have been impounded. So, the responsibility of the road user for the vehicle owner is such that they have to be or should be responsible, because it could be very expensive.
Are there any specific provisions for owners of car rental companies? We see so many rental cars on the road today, and I believe most driven by Bahamians.
Yes.
Suppose your rental car is completely insured, etc., but there's no insurance certificate in the car itself.
Well, the road traffic.
Discretion of the police.
No, it shouldn't be. I mean, the law is the law. I mean, the rental car companies must put in place a system to ensure that when they rent that vehicle, a copy of that certificate is in the possession of the person renting the vehicle. Okay, now, whether they will provide the individual with that certificate every time they rent it, or whether it remains in a particular place in the vehicle. I'm not sure what rules they will follow, but a road traffic certificate must be in the vehicle if the police were to pull them over.
And a photocopy is acceptable until the original is presented, or must it be the original?
I would imagine they can probably get away with a copy, particularly in a rental car situation, right? Of course, not much reliance is placed on copy certificates. Okay, so if it's suspect that the insurance is not legit, then I'm sure the police or some other authority can ask for an original. Yeah.
Now there's another biggie we know now that I don't think existed before, and you can correct me if this, is that the police can now impound your car much more readily than they were able to do before.
Yes, yes.
And you got to pay to get it back.
Well, you have to pay, I think it's $300. Right. And there may be other charges because, the $300, as far as I understand it to be, that's a fee to the police for compounding the vehicle. But if the vehicle is sitting in storage, there may be another fee for the time that is sitting in storage.
Recurring daily.
Exactly. So, it's something that the individual must be aware of. So I can only encourage individuals to ensure that your vehicle has a certificate of insurance, and anyone who's operating that vehicle, if more than one person uses the vehicle, they all are aware that the certificate is in the glove compartment.
Obviously, if someone steals your car, you should be reporting it.
Yes.
But if it's stolen and used in a crime, is there any impact as far as your insurance on that?
When a stolen vehicle, is used for the purpose of perpetrating a crime, the insurance policy is null and void. Okay? So if somebody steals your vehicle, drive down the road and damage my vehicle, the insurance on your policy doesn't apply for my damages. Of course, hopefully I have comprehensive insurance on my car.
Yeah.
So my insurance would be covered, would cover the damage to my vehicle, okay? But the person who steals your vehicle will not be covered for any resulting damage while they're operating a stolen vehicle.
Okay, so it says even more for those who really do serious crimes. But is there any penalty to the person whose car has been stolen, even though it's beyond your control?
No, there's no penalty. No, if you would have taken the necessary precaution to protect your vehicle, then it's very difficult to hold you responsible for your vehicle being stolen or any resulting damage that may arise as a result of the vehicle being stolen. Now there is an element of care that one should exercise if you own a vehicle. Absolutely. Even where you have a comprehensive policy on your vehicle, some policies, we've had instances where persons would have left their car running momentarily to dash into a store to just pick up an item, and the minute they left the vehicle, somebody jumped in it and go off in the car. Most insurance policy will not cover that. It will not cover that. In fact, you should never leave the keys. Nowadays, we have electronic starts, but you should never leave your vehicle exposed to theft by way of the keys or being left in proximity to the car or in the car, because your policy may not cover that. Yeah.
The final question I have for you really has to do with traffic fatalities. We've had an exorbitant amount last year. I can't remember the precise number, but already this year, as we record this program, there's 6 traffic fatalities for 2025.
Yes.
What impact does it have on the insurance industry as a whole? And then, of course, on other motorists as a result of the impact on the industry?
Yeah. Traffic fatalities, particularly when persons injured or who lose their lives are protected under insurance policy, is a very an expensive proposition for insurance companies. And in fact, I would venture to suggest that the losses paid for death and more so injuries represents the larger portion of claims insurance company pay out as opposed to just physical damage for repairs to a vehicle. And these are losses that are not known. People may not necessarily be aware of what one body injury claim may cost an insurance company. But we all know that, if you have head injury, for example, in a fatality, that can be, in many instances, more expensive than the loss of life for some.
MRIs.
Okay. Exactly, and it's an extended period of time. Sometimes people are affected for the remaining of their lives, and those costs adds up to substantial claims.
But obviously there's a limit as to how much the insurance company would pay out. What is a reasonable figure?
The interesting observation, and in the Bahamas, the limits insurance companies are exposed to are large, very large, and each insurance policy, each vehicle on the road that is insured carries a limit of $2.5 million coverage for injuries that they may cause to a third party. So if you cause injury to someone on the street, either a pedestrian or someone in a vehicle, your policy can pay up to $2.5 million. And then we have what we call an accumulative amount of $30 million, where if, for example, you were the cause of an accident to a jitney full of people, and you got multiple persons suffering injury or death, your insurance policy provides cover up to $30 million. So when you pay your third-party premium of $300 or $400, you are protected for any losses that you're responsible for on an individual basis of $2.5 million and on a cumulative basis of $30 million.
Boy, who wants to hear what your premium will be afterwards if they reinsure
well, fortunately, we see very few losses reaching those limits. But we've had, and we have seen, and I'm sure the industry have seen, any number of losses where they're paid substantial sums of money. Substantial sums, yes.
We are at the end of our show right now. I don't know if there's anything else you think the Bahamian public should hear about before we close out, about driving safely and responsibly insured, and anything else about this act before we close out.
Yeah, well, I just want to say that the amendment to the Road Traffic Act, we're still going through some challenges with it. There's still a number of things that need to be ironed out between the industry and the Road Traffic Department. There's been ongoing consultation with the Road Traffic Department and the Bahamas Insurance Association, and hopefully the amendments that have been indicated would be carried out very soon, and that is particularly the removal of policies expiring during the birth month of the insured. And as I said earlier, with that, there are a number of other little things in there. For example, a joint policy, if, whose birth month would come into play,
Yes.
If it's a company, or, it's, what month of the year would apply to a policy registered in the name of a company. So I can go on and identify little concerns that can be an issue if we do not address that particular item.
You mentioned companies, right? Is it practice that companies, if they have, say, 10 or more cars or whatever, that they insure them all at the same time, like in the month of March or whatever?
Yes, generally, companies, at the moment, they can take, not any particular, they at the moment can insure in any month.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have a company that has
But
10
they can do
vehicles,
them all at the same time.
you can insure them the same month. Yeah, in most cases, they will get all of their policies expiring the same month. But it can be February, March, April, or May. Okay. With public service vehicles like jitneys, there is a stated month when all jitneys and taxis are registered, but they can insure their vehicle to expire any particular month. And again, these are things that will have to be addressed under the amendment as to whether they will now be subject to expire any particular month, as, say, you as an individual having your policy expiring during your birth month. But hopefully the birth month expiration is removed. I think it would make it much more workable for the general public.
Yeah, I think they'll be happy too.
Yes.
Well, Johnson, thanks for coming on the show. Always
It's a
good
pleasure.
to see you.
Pleasure, Julian.
Very
Good. Good. Very well.
And we'll speak to you next time on Reid Between the Lines.